610. Hook 00016. $847. That's how much more an AI stack made on my $10,000 in 30 days versus doing absolutely nothing. Not by picking stocks, not by timing the market. By catching inefficiencies my brokerage and my advisor both missed. I tracked every decision, every override, every dollar. No hype, no projections, just what actually happened when I gave Tori and control of a real taxable account for 1 month. I'm Adam, and this is day 1. Set. View 16:1. Here's the setup. I opened a separate taxable brokerage account, not my retirement funds, not my emergency cash, and deposited $10,000 on May 1st, 2026. The rules: ChatGPT Plus acts as my analyst. Copilot Money tracks every transaction in real time. Notion AI journals the rationale. I can override any suggestion, but I have to document why. No day trading, no leverage, no penny stocks. The baseline: if I'd just bought SPY, the S&P 500 ETF, and done nothing for 30 days, what would I have made? That's the benchmark. Everything the AI does has to beat that, or this experiment is a wash. I'm tired of AI hype. I wanted to see if the tools could actually outperform my own inertia. Days 1 to 7, 116,306. Days 1 through 7 were about teaching ChatGPT my situation. I uploaded my risk tolerance questionnaire, my tax bracket. I'm in the 24% federal bracket, married filing jointly, no kids, and my existing allocations in other accounts. ChatGPT's first suggestion: don't buy SPY. Buy 60% VTI, 30% VXUS, 10% BND. Lower expense ratios, broader diversification, tax efficient. I pushed back. I said, the whole point is to beat passive. If you're just Index Fund 2.0, I'm out. It recalculated. Suggested 50% VTI, 20% VXUS, 15% QQQ for tech tilt, 10% SCHD for dividend yield, 5% cash for opportunities. On day 3, I executed. Total cost: $9,950 deployed. DLD 50 in cash. Fidelity charged 0 commissions. Day 5, the first surprise: Copilot Money flagged a recurring $19 charge to a cloud backup service I forgot I had. Not part of the brokerage experiment, but it was watching my spending too. I canceled it. First win, non-investment category, $228 a year saved. Day 7, the portfolio was up $62 versus the SPY baseline's $48. Margin, $14. I was skeptical it would hold. Days 8-14, 306-506. Days 8 through 14, a pattern emerged. ChatGPT started analyzing my transaction history. Not just the brokerage, but my linked checking account through Copilot. It noticed I was spending $340 a month on food delivery. It suggested reallocating $150 of that into SCHD to generate $6 a year in dividends. I laughed. That's not how this works. But then it said something sharper. You're paying 24% tax on earned income to fund consumption that generates 0 return. If you cut $150 a month and deploy it into dividend-yielding assets, you're compounding tax-advantaged growth instead of renting dopamine. I was annoyed because it was right. On day 10, I made the allocation. Extra $150 into SCHD. Day 12, the market dipped. My portfolio was down $73 from peak. SPY was down $58. I was now underperforming by $15. I asked ChatGPT if we should sell. It said, no, tax loss harvesting opportunity in 3 days if the loss exceeds $100. I didn't know what that meant yet. I left it alone. Day 14, Copilot flagged another subscription, $12.99 for a meditation app I used twice. Canceled. Running tally of non-investment savings, $600 annualized. And then on day 18, something happened I didn't expect. Sponsor integration. 506 to 616. The hardest part of this experiment wasn't the money decisions, it was tracking them. Every AI suggestion, every override I made, every second guess at 2 a.m. I needed a system that could handle structured data and natural language notes in the same place. That's where came in. I built a dashboard with 3 views: transactions, AI rationale, and my gut check overrides. Notion's AI could summarize patterns across weeks, like when ChatGPT kept flagging the same subscription charge I'd been ignoring. It turned 47 scattered notes into one insight. I was bleeding $84 a month on a marketing tool I hadn't opened since February. Notion AI is free to start, and the paid tier is what I used for this experiment. Link in the description. Now back to day 18, where this whole thing pivoted. All days 15 abons and 18, 616 to 16. Day 15. The portfolio was still down. ChatGPT sent a notification through Notion. QQQ position is down $127. Recommend tax loss harvesting. Sell QQQ, buy QQQM. Equivalent exposure. Different ticker. Lock in $127 capital loss for tax deduction. Rebuy QQQM in 31 days to avoid wash sale or hold QQQM permanently. I had no idea my brokerage could do this. I called my advisor, the guy I paid $200 an hour. I asked him, "Why didn't you ever mention tax loss harvesting?" He said, "We do it in December if there's a need." It was May. I had a $127 loss sitting there, deductible against my $91,000 in W-2 income. At my 24% bracket, that's 48 days in tax savings. ChatGPT said, "Do it now. You'll have more opportunities by December." I executed. Sold QQQ, bought QQQM same day. The $127 loss was real. I locked it in. But my exposure to NASDAQ didn't change. Day 18, I went deeper. I asked ChatGPT, "What else am I missing?" It analyzed my full transaction CSV from Copilot. It found 6 more micro-optimizations, a savings account earning 0.01% that should be in a 4.5% high-yield account, a credit card I was using that had no cashback versus one offering 2%, and a Roth IRA contribution I hadn't maxed. The Roth piece wasn't part of the 10K experiment, but it mattered. If I contributed the remaining $100 to $400 I was eligible for, I'd shield that growth from all future taxes. I did it that week. Total tax savings from day 15 to 18, $312. That's $127 capital loss deduction plus $185 in future tax savings from the Roth top-up, calculated over 30 years at 7% growth. This was no longer about beating SPY. It was about whether AI could see my whole financial picture better than I could. Days 19 to 25, 8:16 to 9:46. Days 19 through 25, the AI started cross-referencing. Copilot tracked spending. ChatGPT analyzed portfolio. Notion AI surfaced patterns. On day 21, ChatGPT noticed I'd been paying for VPN monthly at $12.95. It suggested I switch to annual at $47.88, saving $107.52 a year. I use Surfshark to access my brokerage securely when I'm traveling. The suggestion made sense. I switched. Day 23. It flagged my asset allocation was drifting. QQQ and SCHD had grown. VTI hadn't. It suggested rebalancing. Sell $68 of SCHD, buy $68 of VTI. I did it. No tax event because gains were under $100. Day 25, another subscription catch, $15.99 for a browser extension I installed in 2024 and forgot. Cancelled, running non-investment savings, $988 annualized. The portfolio was now up $129 versus SPY's $100. The gap had widened. Days 26-30, 9:46-10:50. Days 26 through 30. Final accounting. The market rallied. My AI-optimized portfolio closed at $10,390. If I'd just bought SPY and held, I'd be at $10,306. Investment gain, $85 more than baseline. But the real alpha was elsewhere. Tax loss harvesting saved $127 in deductible losses. Subscription cuts saved $980 annualized, but for this 30-day window, that's $82 in cash flow I kept. Roth top-up, a $185 in future tax savings annualized to present value, call it $6 for this month. VPN switch, $9 saved this month. Total advantage, $390 investment gain plus $97 in optimizations plus $300 deals in tax moves, net $847. That's an 8.47% improvement over doing nothing. Not from stock picks. From AI noticing inefficiencies I'd been ignoring for years. The S&P baseline made $306. AI-guided process made $1,053 in total value when you include tax and cash flow. Where did AI win? Pattern recognition, tax optimization, subscription tracking. Where did humans win? Risk override. On day 22, ChatGPT suggested a 5% position in leveraged ETFs. I said no. I don't care what the backtest says, I'm not doing that in a taxable account. It accepted the override. Outro, 10:11:20. So would I do this again? Yes, but with tighter rails. AI won on process optimization, humans won on risk intuition. If you want to see where else AI can find alpha in ordinary financial life, subscribe. Next week, I'm uploading my entire 2025 tax return to ChatGPT to see if it catches deductions my CPA didn't. The results surprised me. Link in the corner, notifications on. I'll see you in 7 days.